Hi, my name is Soila, and you're listening to Heartland, a fan podcast from a fan perspective. Welcome back to the podcast and to the 101st episode. If you're keeping score, you might be wondering, 101st? Isn't this supposed to be the 100th episode? Well, there's a little surprise video up on my YouTube channel where I show you what a week in the life of this Heartland fan looks like. So if you're bummed about only getting another audio version of the podcast this week, there's something visual there for you to enjoy. I was supposed to do a visual version this week, but life happened. There's not enough time, and I had to finish editing that vlog. So, an audio is what you're going to get again. But that was how podcasts were made in the first place, weren't they? Maybe next week there will be a visual episode again, with it being our recap of the season 17 finale. But before we get there, let's recap episode 9. Let me start with your comments first. Selden said, "It looks like Nathan got really hurt and needs to heal before he is ready for any new relationship. I think that Nathan and Amy is the pair that they are going for eventually, and I have personally accepted that it is what most likely happens next, and that I will like them just like I like Tim and Jessica, but I love Tim and Casey. I know this is all fictional, but I just can't help it." What Amy said was true too. Nathan was right also. It ended in a heartbreak, but it's part of loving someone. Amy lost Ty and it hurt, but it wasn't an ugly ending to their relationship, just the most painful one possible. And still, in a way, not, because it lasted till the end of his life, and in one way or the other, until the end of Amy's life too. I do understand that Jack has a lot on his plate right now, but I don't still quite understand why it was so big of a deal that someone had bought that picture that Jessica took of him in the cemetery. I agree with Jack that Jessica should not have taken it, but nobody owns a moment when they have a picture of something or someone. They own a reflection of a moment in a form of a photograph, but the moment happens only once and only between the people who share it. Sharon said, "Another great episode. Think I've said this about every episode this season. Definitely setting up for next episode and next season. Don't think the Fred is the one making the decisions, but the business manager for Price seems very aggressive and doesn't care who stands in his way. Big business is always about the bottom line, and Heartland Beef is all about its product. The two worlds never see eye to eye. Maybe they should sit down with Nathan and talk it out. As for Amy, love how Amy was flirting with him, but Nathan is still hurting by the betrayal of his wife. Nathan has his favorite spot, Amy has hers. Hopefully, they will find their favorite spot. Jessica, I think, has finally realized that it's not always what she sees in the photo, but what the person in the photo is feeling. Jack is a private person, and I would have thought she knew that. At least they were able to make amends. Miranda is being overprotective of Shane, or is she protecting herself? She's making catty remarks about Chloe, which are totally unnecessary. I go with the mantra of a son is a son until he takes a wife, but a daughter is a daughter for the rest of her life. I don't think Tim felt the same as Miranda, but I'm glad that Shane spoke to Lou and to his parents. At least Katie was happy in this episode. I knew Lou would buy Katie a bike. She saw how much it means to Katie. Looking forward to the next episode, but not looking forward to the next episode as it's the last of the season. Now we have to wait months for a new season, hopefully. Slister said, "This was not my favorite episode of the season, but I think it definitely still covered some good ground. First, I'm glad we got an explanation of what was happening between Jessica and Jack with the photo, and that Jessica was able to make the situation right. I also appreciate hearing more about Jack's life with Lindy, even briefly. Second, the Tim, Miranda, Shane, Chloe drama with the move to London. Overall, this seemed unnecessary to me, but I'm glad we got to see Lou be a big sister to Shane and encourage him. Also, always appreciate a good joke. London? Ontario? Okay, now for the big points. I'm really warming up to the idea of Amy and Nathan, especially after this episode. We are seeing that if they choose to have a relationship, it will not be easy. They will both have things to work through, which will make things between them that much stronger. That's how life is, and I'm glad the writers are picking up on it. The initial tree scene was cute but cheesy, and not the good kind of predictable. I have a feeling we will be back there. It did give us a good look into Nathan's background. His comment that every relationship ends in a heartbreak, while true, did not help his case this episode. But it was honest, and it will help both of them in the long run, assuming there is one. This Heartland beef, prize beef, Garland food situation is giving me anxiety. I wonder why Garland decided to drop the brand. I hope it's not personal because of Lou. I have a feeling this will end up in a merger between the ranches, but I hope it does not make Amy's relationship with Nathan more business than pleasure. She has tried that before and deserves something else. And, of course, Katie. I know you disagree with me on this, but I was super happy to see her get a dirt bike and be able to keep this other element of her personality on display. HL Horses said, I really like this episode. We haven't seen Fred in a while, so that was a surprise. My first thought was, of course, they bring Fred on screen again right after Lou decides to get involved. I love seeing Lou doing business things. She's so good at it, and we hardly get to see her use her degree. The pitch she gave us was so good and had really great ideas. Too bad it didn't really work and they got dropped. I wonder if we will ever get to know the reason they were fully dropped and not just no exclusivity. I will be interested to see how this ends up affecting Amy and Nathan's relationship. Speaking of Amy and Nathan, I absolutely love their scenes this episode. They keep killing it in the chemistry department and really get along well. Nathan's discount comment made me laugh. You could tell he was wary of Amy's methods, but was really happy and came around when it worked. Their scenes at the tree were definitely my favorite. It's so nice to see Amy relaxed and having fun and laughing after these past few seasons. Amy's reaction to climbing the tree was funny too. I definitely did not see coming that Nathan had an ex-wife that cheated on him, but I think that brings an interesting dynamic to their relationship, especially since he seems to have sworn off all relationship and offended Amy in the process. It will be interesting to see if and when and how he gets over that fear of relationships. This is random, but I really like Amy's red, white, and blue coat she was wearing. Also, Chloe freaking out about powder gave me Mackenzie and Diva vibes from season 2. Lindy's comment about cloud casing, I'm pretty sure is relevant in the next episode, as I think that's one of the only scenes we haven't seen from the season trailer, and I'm excited about it. I also like the swing scene and how it paralleled Nathan in the tree. I also love seeing Miranda again. Was never a fan of her, but I love when they bring characters back we haven't seen in forever. Her and Tim were so awkward. I burst out laughing at Tim's comment about Miranda breaking up with him, just the way Chris delivered it. I'm glad Tim was wary of the whole time about Miranda wanting him to give Shane advice, even if he did end up talking to Shane and getting him mad anyway. I liked Shane standing up to Tim and Miranda, but I wish Shane could have seen how much Tim didn't want to do what Miranda said. I'm glad we got to see Shane, Lou, and Amy actually acting like siblings as adults in this episode. We didn't get to see it last time since it was so awkward and there was tension between them. The hey sis, seeing our little brother get married, and Amy and Shane bonding over passing Tim were good sibling scenes. I also liked Lou's conversation with Shane and like that they brought up Dubai simply because it's a callback, and I love when they remember they have 16 seasons to pull information from. It was cute. Shane also brought the buckle. Even if I don't remember the scene, he got it. LOL. Another callback. Jack marrying them should be interesting. I also like that Miranda and Jessica interacted, even if it was only a bit. I hope we get to see more of that next episode. Also, Tim must be very good with wood that he can build that fancy and well done gazebo in a day or two. Jessica's storyline wasn't really my favorite because I feel the whole thing was way out of character. Her view kind of frustrated me that she only saw the shot and not the person behind the shot, who is her family. I mean, I'm glad it didn't take much for her to see the error of her ways and fix it, but I'm not sure this plot was necessary, considering I think Jessica would know better. But Jack did have a good comment at dinner, and I laughed at it as I wasn't expecting it. Katie's reaction was funny too. Glad we got a Grandma Lindy mention from this at least. This didn't really have a storyline this episode, but Luke getting a bike for Katie was so cute. I'm really interested in next week's finale. Smoking Holster said, one really important, annoying to me point before I start. For 17 years, it's been show canon that Lindy's ashes were spread at the fishing cabin. If there's a marker for her in the family cemetery, they've kept it a secret for 17 years. To those of us that have made what was canon into part of a fan fiction, that sucks. Once again, I enjoyed the episode. It must be much harder to put together the show these days with so many storylines. My recollection of the days of 18 episodes was that the shows were more drawn out, fewer storylines per episode over a longer time frame. I love that they got Katie a dirt bike. It looks new and expensive, which was unnecessary, but I'm thrilled she has one. I guess buying back the bike she had rebuilt with Tim was too much to ask, but I'll live with it. Katie's reaction to Jack's comment regarding Jessica was pure gold. I continue to like Amy and Nathan together. I really don't make much of what he said. Ty's death was really tragic and heartbreaking, so there's some truth in it after all. I'm not making much of it, as I know, as do we all, that there's that picnic with Lindy and Molly coming up, so there's that. I think Nathan will apologize and maybe we'll get some introspection from Amy, but we'll see. I'm glad Jessica bought back the photo of Jack, even if she had to pay double. Can't imagine the money was hardship to her, so there's that. What impressed me most about this was that it really bothered her that he was upset and took the time to stay on it. Also glad that Jack took the time to explain its importance. I like her. The whole Garland business was strange, as I'm not sure what good comes out of Fred stringing the family along about the beef unless he was just juggling while some deal to take over the company was being formulated. I still don't get how the canned stew was supposed to fix something. Anyway, Lou was great and presented a cogent and meaningful presentation to Fred, but again, the whole situation is weird. Why even meet if the ultimate outcome wasn't his decision to make? I guess we'll find out next episode. I should add that I'm not thrilled that Jack and Tim keep going on about price beef as they have nothing to support their feelings. Nathan really seems like he's just a plain old business guy like them, trying to sell his prime beef and keep their lifestyle alive. Totally forgot the wedding. I have no problem with Chloe wanting this or that for her wedding. Tim said yes to the build, his decision. Weirder than requesting the gazebo to me was the whole powder thing. She asked the right powder, and Amy answered yes, which was strange because he's Nathan's horse. As to them moving to London, how much harder is that than him working in New York? What really continues to impress me is the way Tim acts these days. If any character has really grown on this show, it's him. Deep said, a word to Nathan Price Jr. If anyone is a hopeless romantic, it is you, mister. The romances have never been my favorite storylines, but I have enjoyed the pacing and twist of this story. I'm confident that Amy's hurt feelings will be resolved in the final episode. I think that it would be more interesting if the Heartland prize beef wars continue on to next season. Amy has wisely chosen to stay out of it completely, but I would be interested in seeing her navigate the minefield of conflicting loyalties. Poor Fred. He was too embarrassed to admit that he had lost control of Garland Foods, which it seems is no longer a family run business. Perhaps in order to compete with Crown Grocers, he had to turn to investors for more capital, and the solution for Heartland Beef will be to somehow help Fred regain control. I would hate to see another familiar face disappear, as I like Fred, and he provides comic relief. I enjoy family dynamics the most, and one of my favorite moments was when Tim sent Shane to Lou, hoping to boost his case against London, and she gives the opposite and wiser sisterly advice. The Jessica Jack interaction over the portrait was great. I hope she recognizes now that family members are not fodder for her artistic visions simply because they are convenient subjects. And Stephanie said, I really liked this episode. Some of my favorite moments were definitely between Lou, Amy, and Shane. It was so nice to see them interact like siblings and catching up since last time things were so awkward. It's good that they've been able to move past that and are making a real effort into being in each other's lives. The comment about wanting to see their baby brother get married was really sweet. I enjoyed seeing Miranda, although I do think she was overstepping with the whole Shane wanted to move to London for his wife's job. Like they said in the episode, they're getting married and it's really a decision between the two of them. I understand she's concerned for her son, but I wish she didn't try and drag Tim into this. I really felt for him when Shane was standing up for himself. Good on him, by the way. But I wish he could see that Tim really didn't want to intervene in the first place. The moments between Shane and Tim earlier in the episode were nice. I really hope if we get more seasons, there will be more mentions of Shane, or we even get to see him and Chloe again. Another favorite moment was between Amy and Nathan. The amount of flirting and banter between them was adorable and got me grinning. I love seeing Amy work with his horse and him being willing to try out her methods and actually take her advice in stride and not think he knows all. It was refreshing to see. My favorite moment has to be when they were climbing the tree. The dialogue was just too good. Him teasing her and Amy not taking any of it and giving him sass back. It was enjoyable to see Amy in a happy place and laughing after her mourning for so long. Although I do have to say, I didn't see coming that Nathan was married before and he got cheated on, and him accidentally implying to Amy that no relationships are worth it, etc. I hope in true Heartland fashion they can talk about it and get past that. As much as I like Jessica, this storyline I wasn't crazy about. Like someone else mentioned, I really don't think she would take a photo of someone during a private moment and not talk to that person about it. It seemed out of character, let alone put it on display and sell it. But of course, her coming around and having that conversation with Jack was good. I'm glad for his sake she got the portrait back from the buyer. Lou is such a boss woman. Yes, we already knew that, but I enjoyed seeing her pitch ideas to Fred. She seems so confident and sure of herself, which is great to see. It's too bad his company dropped them though. I'm looking forward to seeing the continuation of this storyline and seeing what's in store for Heartland Beef. I got to add, having Fred back was kind of nice. I can pretty much always guarantee a laugh at his expense. Speaking of Lou, I absolutely love the scene where she gives Katie the dirt bike. It was such a wholesome moment between them. I love how they've grown close this past season. I'm living for all the sweet mother daughter scenes. Michelle and Bay really do have great chemistry to make it believable. Looking forward to the season finale. I can't believe we're here already. Overall, this episode was okay. I did find myself sort of zoning out during the scenes with Miranda, which surprised me a bit, but for some reason it didn't exactly captivate my attention the way I thought it would, but maybe it will feel different in the next episode. I was worried after witnessing Miranda's first remarks about Chloe that it was going to be a typical case of monster in law, and I guess to some degree it was, but there was more to it too. I feel like Miranda is afraid of letting Shane go. I mean, they've been this unit all these years, and then walks in this Chloe who takes Shane away to London. I was so happy Tim's first instinct was to support Shane, and it's a shame Miranda sort of poisoned that reaction, but in a way, it was a good thing Shane set them straight. I really find myself enjoying having Shane around. It's a bit sad that with him and Chloe moving to London, it probably means we won't be seeing him that much anymore. I'm also impressed the chemistry Sam and Jennifer have been able to create between their characters. While we haven't known them for long and they've only had a handful of scenes together, I could believe that Shane and Chloe have a history together and they are a couple about to get married. When it comes to Amy's storyline, when the episode started, I really started to realize that while episode 6 was a great start for Amy and Nathan pairing, they've been sort of in the background for the most part and just been taking these rides together. While that's a great slow build up for both characters, it seems, I was sort of fearing we were left out on important moments and conversations because I need those in order to believe in this upcoming major pairing. Thankfully, the tree moment especially provided them. There were some moments when they were working with powder, but I feel like that showed more of their chemistry, while the tree moments showed them building up the foundations. I'm happy with what they did with them in this episode. I think it was a nice balance of romantic tension, but also a sprinkle of drama without it being too melodramatic. I'm liking the balance between Amy and Nathan's characters. They challenge one another, but have more equal footing than Ty and Amy ever did. It feels like a grown up relationship, and I'm glad Nathan has some baggage too through the story of his ex wife and how that has left him feeling. It should make more interesting stories. There's also been this shadow of a melancholy about both of these characters, so it was nice to see them have fun together. Lou didn't really have a big storyline in this episode, but I was really happy with what I saw. It's such a treat for me to watch scenes with Michelle Morgan, Chris, and Sean together, as I feel we rarely get them. And yes, while I'm personally not a fan of dirt bikes, I'm so happy we got to see Lou gifting Katie one because it shows she's supportive of Katie's passion, even though it might make her fear for her safety, but also it makes Katie happy, so I was glad to see that. The Jessica and Jack storyline, on the other hand, left me a bit confused. I'm not sure I really saw the reason for it now. Maybe it will make sense later on. I don't know. But it felt like a filler storyline that could have been better used for something else. Don't get me wrong, I do enjoy seeing Michelle Nolden and Sean together in scenes, but I guess I just didn't understand the purpose for this. I'm glad there was a happy ending, but that was pretty much guaranteed anyway when it comes to things like this on this show. Also, there were some continuity errors involved with the storyline, but I guess at this point of a show, I shouldn't be surprised. Time to get ready for the final episode of this season. The episode is called Just the Beginning, which sounds hopeful for season 18, but I'm suspecting we will still have to wait for that news a little while longer. The synopsis for tomorrow's episode says an accident puts Shane's wedding in jeopardy. Nathan tries to make amends with Amy while helping his traumatized horse. Heartland B faces an uncertain future. Katie finds a new side of herself. Let's circle back next week, shall we? Until then, keep your noses clean and your powder dry, as they say. Bye.